There's a man in your office or somewhere in your social circle who never seems to think about what he eats. You're at a restaurant. He glances at the menu for 10 seconds and orders. If you look at what he orders, it's usually mainly protein, veg, maybe a side. Then he's done. He's not making any calculations and he's barely hesitating. And if you ask him, you'll find out he had already eaten twice that day. He wasn't starving himself. The craziest part is he doesn't seem to diet. Yet he looks the same, if not better, every single year. And if we're honest here, he isn't just lucky and he's not more disciplined than you. He just eats differently and most of it is invisible. My name's Adam, I have a master's in performance nutrition and I've helped over 200 men lose fat and keep it off. And in this video, I want to tell you about what I've noticed in the men who stay lean, along with the research we have to support this. Most of the men who come to me have already tried the disciplined version of themselves. They've tried tracking religiously, following some sort of fasting or cutting out carbs, and it works until about Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they're fine. Then the week loosens up. A meal out, a few drinks, the structure crumbles. And one meal becomes a weekend. And by Sunday, they either log in a number they can't explain or they've just stopped logging entirely. The next message always starts the same way. I did really well until... I've read that sentence hundreds of times. That very same cycle, scraping through the week and collapsing at the weekend. And most people think that's just a discipline issue. Holding on as long as you can and then you recover, then you start again. I can tell you now, the lean man in your office is not doing that. He isn't building up to the collapse. He isn't recovering from one. He isn't battling through the extremes with his food. The fitness industry, on the other hand, has made a lot of money from that battle. It needs you to fight because a man who's constantly fighting keeps buying things to help them fight better. But what it never tells you is the men who actually stay lean long term, most of them aren't fighting anything. They've removed friction. Discipline is effort applied to friction, and these men eliminated the friction. That's a completely different thing, and it's something you can actually build. For a long time, my kitchen was a project. I had phases, I had multiple phases, a keto phase where every carb was categorized and eliminated. A period of obsessing over seed oils, which ones were inflammatory, which ones to avoid, and whether the restaurant I was eating was using the right kind of oil. I went through clean eating where anything processed was suspect. I even eliminated protein powder for a long period of time. And I read labels on things that didn't even need labels and probably don't have labels to this day. The mental overhead was draining. Every meal was a decision tree and every food had a file, yet it still didn't hold because the problem with the approach is that it requires constant vigilance and vigilance runs out. Life gets complicated, the week loosens up and suddenly you're standing in the kitchen at night after having eaten nothing structured all day, making whatever decision takes the least amount of time. And that's usually some sort of app or a food that you probably shouldn't be eating. What I eventually noticed is the men I knew who stayed lean weren't doing any of this. They weren't monitoring things in this way, but their kitchen just looked completely different to mine. Greek yogurt in the fridge, fruit and veg on the counter, pre-cooked protein sources, all the things that were easy to grab were the things that would actually keep them full. The research on this is hard to deny. When food is visible and within reach, people eat more of it consistently and outside of awareness. Now think of bigger portions that are served and just more goes in. And it sounds obvious. More food visible, more food eaten. But people blame their motivation on discipline. Yet in reality, people generally don't notice this happening. Their decision is made before they even open the cupboard. They built a kitchen that pretty much worked on autopilot, but not in a good way. And the second thing I noticed was how they ate. When I was in my obsessive phases, I ate fast, distracted, at my desk in front of a screen while I was scrolling. And a meal is just something to get through, just fuel so I could move on. But the lean men I spent time with ate differently. And this wasn't because they were being mindful in any deliberate sense, but because eating was just what they were doing in that moment. Fork down between bites. They were chewing each mouthful. And in the conversation, if there was one, they were not inhaling their food. Their meals lasted a long time. And that matters more than it sounds. Eating quickly consistently leads to higher intake. The research is solid and it has been replicated enough times that I take it seriously. The mechanism is straightforward. Your gut sends satiety signals to your brain as food comes in, but those signals take time. If you eat fast enough, you've overeaten before that signal arrives. But if you slow down, your body can actually tell you when it's done. I started doing this without calling it anything, just eating without a screen. The difference in how full I felt at the end of a meal on far less calories was noticeable within a week. And the third thing is loose rules. We're not talking about a diet, not I'm doing low carbs for this month, but a framework. Protein in most meals. No sugary soft drinks in the house. I weigh myself at least 3 times a week just to stay aware. Most of the time, 7 times, but at least 3 times. And that's what I settled into eventually. A few simple things running in the background with no start date, no end date, and no catastrophic failure state. There's good evidence for why this works better than the alternative. The research points to the differences between rigid and a flexible dietary restraint. Rigid being the tracker, like I'm talking the religious tracker with forbidden foods and hard rules who starts over when he breaks them. And flexible being loose awareness without the all or nothing collapse. And a flexible restraint is consistently associated with lower body weight, less binge eating, and better long-term outcomes. But rigid restraint predicts more food preoccupation and worse results over time. I was rigid for years, tracking everything all the time, labeling everything, making everything mean something. But when I stopped, when I traded the rules in for a few loose anchors and started focusing purely on whether the food was going to keep me full, things got easier, not straight away, but over time. Now there's no battle in the kitchen. Everything is as easy as it can be. The things that don't serve me aren't there. And I didn't design this overnight. That's what the lean men figured out, deliberately or not. A few defaults running in the background, they make the right choice the easiest one. Okay, so I used to work with a guy called Dan. Some Thursday nights would go out, a group of us, like 6 or 7 people, usually somewhere with a decent enough menu and no particular reason to hold back. Dan would order without much fuss, eat most of what arrived, and then he just stopped, pushed his plate slightly forward. He was clearly done, but there was no announcement or fuss, yet the rest of the table was still going. Someone ordering another round of drinks, someone already on the dessert menu. And Dan was just sitting back in the conversation, in the room, but not particularly bothered in any way. And I assumed he had unusual willpower, but I had it completely backwards. When you eat with people you know well, your intake goes up. That's one of the more consistently replicated findings in eating behavior research. People eat more when they're with their companions, and their companions eat more, and less when their companions eat less. You don't decide to match someone, you just do. The longer evenings, the bigger eaters at the table, then just more goes in, mostly without you even noticing. Dan wasn't resisting that pull. He just wasn't caught by it. And he had the burger, not the salad. He had a drink, but he just stopped there when he was done. Even if nobody else did. Think of this over years and years of dinners. That one thing makes a significant difference. The office was the same. There was always biscuits somewhere, like someone's birthday cake on the counter. Most people were drifting towards the kitchen at 3 p.m. Then there was Dan. He wasn't making some virtuous choice in those moments. He just didn't eat the things he wasn't hungry for. It didn't seem to register as temptation. And that's the thing I kept coming back to. It wasn't that Dan had better environments everywhere he went. He didn't control the restaurant or the office. What he did was far simpler than that. He ate like Dan regardless of where he was. The room changed, but he didn't. And that's not discipline, that's something else entirely. As you may know, I like to make my content as practical as it can be, so I want to give you something to actually do. And remember, as always, you don't need to replicate this all at once, but you do need 3 things from this video anyway. 1 thing in your kitchen, 1 thing at the table, 1 loose rule. The kitchen thing. Remove 1 category of food you compulsively eat and don't restock it. It could be peanut butter. Not necessarily forever. Just don't buy it this week. Maybe it's the crisps you eat in front of the TV without even deciding to. The biscuits you work through while answering emails. Or even, like me, nuts. Plain nuts I'm talking about. If it's not there, you don't eat it. And now you're not relying on willpower because you are removing the decision entirely, not trying to win it repeatedly. The table thing. You stop eating while you're doing something else. And this doesn't have to be every meal, especially not to start with. Just 1. Sit down with no screen, eat until you're done, chew each mouthful, extend that meal. Do it consistently and notice what happens to your fullness, how full you feel, even with less calories. The research on this is consistent enough that I now consider this one of the highest leverage changes a man can make, because it simply lets your hunger signals do the work they're supposed to do. The loose rule: get a reasonable amount of protein in most meals. You don't have to weigh it or track it. Just ask the question before you eat: is there a good amount of protein in this? If not, add some more. And that's it. It helps remove hunger from the equation without turning every meal into a decision. You're anchoring the meal around protein. Then you're less hungry between meals and you're less likely to raid the kitchen after dinner because you didn't eat like a 110-pound supermodel for lunch. And the lean men I know didn't build this system in a week, but they did start somewhere. And it's almost always starting with something this small. So my obsession didn't stop because I found a better system. It stopped because I just got tired of it. I'd spent years trying to optimize the wrong things. And at some point, I just asked myself, after all this, am I any leaner than I was? Am I healthier? Was any of it worth the mental energy I spent on it? The honest answer was no. What changed wasn't the food. It was the question I started asking about it. I stopped asking, is this clean? Or is this allowed? Or what's the inflammatory potential of this particular oil? And I started asking 1 key thing. Will this keep me full? That's it. Protein and fiber, not because it's some revelation, but because when I'm not hungry, I don't overeat. Everything else just takes care of itself. The complexity I'd been adding for years worked against me the entire time. I'm not on something now. I'm not being good this week. I'm just me. I eat like me wherever I am. And that's the thing about Dan that took me a while to actually see. It wasn't that he had more discipline or a better plan or inherited some advantage I didn't have. He just knew who he was when food came out at the restaurant. The restaurant didn't change that. The office didn't change that. Thursday night was 6 people ordering dessert, didn't change that. That's not a program you follow. It's who you become when you stop fighting yourself long enough to let yourself settle. Your identity. Okay, so that's what I've noticed about the men who stay lean. It's the small things that seem like nothing. In fact, they are boring, but they are repeatable and they work. And if you enjoyed this, subscribe and watch this video next. I'll see you there.